Hey guys, this is Cory of Curb Free with Cory Lee, and thank you so much for joining me for this week's Curb Free from Home. This week is a really special one because I'm going to be talking with Marissa Bell, the Public Relations Manager for Visit Chattanooga. And I have lived about 30 minutes from Chattanooga for the majority of my life, so I'm super excited for this Curb Free from Home. But if you want to see any of the past Curb Free from Homes that we've done in Gulf Shores, Alabama, Wilmington, North Carolina, Costa Rica, Winnipeg, Canada. I feel like I'm missing some. Tempe, Arizona. We've done quite a few now. So this is number 7. So if you want to see any of the old ones, be sure to go to YouTube and search hashtag Curb Free from Home, and those will come right up. But for now, let's jump right in with Marissa Bell, who is with us from Visit Chattanooga. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Cory. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. Chattanooga is a city that I've lived near and know a lot about, and I really still love it, even though I've been here like 30 years. So it's constantly, has new attractions coming in, new accommodations. I think it's like really thriving now, especially more than ever. So I can't wait to talk with you and show everyone why Chattanooga is a good place to visit.
Well, I'm really excited that you picked Chattanooga just up the road from where you live, and you know a lot about too. And hopefully we can share a few new gems that some of your viewers might want to check out next time they're in town.
Yeah, for sure. And can we maybe start by talking about Chattanooga's location within Tennessee, just to give everyone an idea of like where they can fly into to visit Chattanooga, and what like could they like? I know Chattanooga, is only a couple hours from Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, which has Dollywood, which is a huge, tourism place, and a lot of people go there. So Chattanooga is just a short distance away. But if you want to talk a little bit about the location, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah. Chattanooga is the 4th largest city in Tennessee, as you might know. It's also located sort of in the southeast corner of Tennessee, so we're really close to other states. We're centrally located, just a 2-hour drive from major drive cities like Atlanta, Birmingham, Huntsville, Nashville, and Knoxville. We also have the Chattanooga Airport, which has nonstop flights to about 10 destinations. So it's an easy flight in. Once you get to the airport too, there's a company that we've worked with before called Mobility Works, and they have accessible vans. So those vans you can rent, and then the service, when we've worked with someone before on that, they take it directly to the airport. You get in the van there, and then you can use that to get around. Although we also do have a lot of different ways to get around Chattanooga. The downtown is really compact. It's close to the Tennessee River that runs through the middle of it. And there are lots of ways that you can easily navigate downtown and get to where you want to go, or use the free electric shuttle, which is also accessible to get around town.
Right. Yeah. And I'm glad that you said that Mobility Works does have the wheelchair accessible vans. So that's always a good option. I've used Mobility Works in a bunch of different cities around the US for rentals. And I actually got my van that I use in my everyday life from the Mobility Works in Chattanooga. So I know that, they are a really great company. They'll definitely get everyone, what you need if you need an accessible rental. And also, as you said, the downtown area is very walkable and rollable. The sidewalks are great. There are curb cuts everywhere. And it's so easy to go even from like downtown across the river to the North Shore on the Walnut Street Bridge. So that's really like one of my favorite things about Chattanooga is how walkable and rollable it is.
Yeah, it's really accessible downtown. You can, like you said, go across the Walnut Street Bridge, the pedestrian bridge, and get incredible views as you're rolling across the bridge on both sides of the river. And then you end up in the North Shore, which from there you could even roll on into Coolidge Park, which is a 13-acre park that has water fountains, great views of the river, and wide open spaces. If you came back across the river to the south side of Chattanooga and the downtown district, you could hop on the Tennessee Riverwalk and roll for about 13 miles on the Tennessee Riverwalk if you wanted to go that far. And so it goes up and down river in both directions, covering a lot of interesting neighborhoods, lots of public art along the way as you're going along.
Yeah, the Tennessee River Park is probably my favorite thing to do in all of Chattanooga. I've gone like the past couple weekends, and they have like grills there, so you can cook out and have a picnic. You can, roll on the trail, which is fully paved, so it's brilliantly accessible, and it goes all the way from the dam like to downtown. So I've done that entire trip, and my wheelchair actually died when I got to downtown. So I had to come be rescued by my van and come and got me. But if your chair can go that far, then definitely go for it.
Wow. Well, I'm glad it had a happy ending and that you weren't stranded.
Yeah, it's a fun experience. But we have a comment. My mom is watching, so she loves Chattanooga too. But yeah, and we also have some other viewers. So if you're just tuning in, today we're talking about Chattanooga, Tennessee. And let's kind of dive into like when someone arrives at the Chattanooga airport, they get the accessible rental van from Mobility Works. What are some good hotel options that they could stay at?
Yeah. So using the van, or even if you go downtown and you decide not to use the van and use the electric shuttle, or just roll from hotel to destination experiences, there are quite a few different options downtown. So I know the Reed House Hotel, where you've stayed before, is a great option. We've had some journalists that we've hosted there too, which is great. They're downtown, sort of in the central business district along MLK Boulevard. And then closer toward the riverfront district, you have the Doubletree Hotel, which recently completed a renovation and has all sorts of upgraded fixtures in the rooms and in the lobby areas.
And you get the good cookies at the Doubletree.
Yeah, warm chocolate chip cookies.
Right.
And then just up from there, so Doubletree Hotel is kind of near the Tennessee Aquarium, for just to orient. And then if you go upriver a little bit, you've got the Edwin Hotel, which is a really nice new construction hotel that's more of a luxury hotel, and it overlooks the Tennessee River, and it has a rooftop bar there too. So that's a great place to see all the action going on downtown. Then if you go to the south side, you've got the Chattanooga Choo Choo Hotel, which is now a whole entertainment complex. So there are lots of areas to explore there. And in addition to that, the Chattanooga Choo Choo is going to go undergo a renovation for all of its rooms and the interior spaces. So that's slated to be going through this year and next. So I think sometime next year is when we'll see the completion of that.
Oh, very cool. And I've actually only stayed at the Reed House. When I came to Chattanooga last year, I did like a weekend staycation and stayed at the Reed House, which is beautiful. I mean, the picture showing now, that's the lobby. So it's like really a grand place to stay. And it feels like you're almost like stepping back in time to like the 20s and the 30s. And it's absolutely beautiful. And I actually just underwent a $25 million renovation in 2018. So the accessible rooms are better. This was my room. I had 2 beds in it. And then the bathroom also had the roll-in shower with a handheld shower sprayer, a pull-under sink. There were grab bars there in the shower and by the toilet. And they provided a shower chair as well. So it was great. But I stayed on the 3rd floor, which is also home to, some of you may find this interesting, a haunted room. So room 311, I believe it is. Do you know if that's correct? Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so room 311 is haunted by Annalisa Netherly, who was murdered in the bathtub of the room in the 1920s. So she was decapitated right there in that maybe not that bathtub, because that one looks pretty new, but in a bathtub in that room. And she was decapitated, and now her ghost supposedly haunts room 311, which I only stayed like 1 door away from when I was there. So it was a really cool tour, and they actually offer free tours of room 311 every day. So if you want to, try to see Annalisa Netherly's ghost, you could definitely hit up that, whether you're staying at the Reed House or not.
That's true. It's a cool feature that they provide those daily tours. And it's also kind of interesting, when they did the renovation, they did renovate that room, but they brought in fixtures that looked like sort of the period of that time and restored some of those fixtures. So everything you see is sort of antique, and it gives you the feeling that you're really stepping back in time to when that incident happened.
Oh yeah, for sure. And when I was actually in the room touring it. This is a fun little story, but we were in there doing the tour, and the phone in the room actually rang. So our guide said that like it had never rang before on any tour, and she answered it, and there was like no one on the other line. So maybe it was a ghost. I don't know. It was a little freaky and weird, but still such a fun tour, and I would definitely recommend it if you're into like haunted activities. But Chattanooga also has some ghost tours, I believe. I've never done those, but I've seen like the billboards and the signs for them.
Yes, the Chattanooga ghost tours are a great option if you want to hear about a little bit more history of Chattanooga and the potential to either hear those stories about ghosts of Chattanooga or even do some searching and maybe even find a ghost yourself while you're on that tour.
Yeah, awesome. I'll have to check that out next time I have some time in Chattanooga. But let's kind of talk about other outdoor activities, because now, especially in the age, I think that people are like wanting to, I don't know, it's making a weird sound, but people are wanting to like get outdoors more and try to spend time outside. So we briefly like touched on the Tennessee River Park, which is one of my favorite areas by far. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll pop some pictures up right here if I can find them. And so as you guys can see here, the trail is fully paved. It goes right along the Tennessee River, and you do have a view of it for much of the journey. And then you'll like get into the more marshy areas, and it's such a beautiful ride, and you can like go right to downtown. So that would probably be my number one activity that I would recommend if it's, you know, a really nice day in the spring or summer or fall and the weather's good, then definitely try to do that while you're in town. But aside from that, are there any other outdoor activities that you want to recommend?
Yes, the Riverwalk is a great one. I'd even recommend that people check out the section that goes from downtown to St. Elmo. So it sort of goes downriver, and it's about 3 more miles that was completed a few years ago. Has lots of really cool sculptures and artwork along there. Some other options are Adventure Sports Innovation. They are located in Coolidge Park. They have all sorts of different equipment you can play on for both land and water. But one of the things I like is the swing car. And it kind of looks like a spider. It is like a golf cart, and then it's electric powered, but it has the suspension that allows you to go into like a trail and climb over logs, go through creeks, but it is accessible. And the cool thing in the steering is that you've got the acceleration and the brake on the steering wheel. So you can pretty much just do everything from there. Adventure Sports Innovation takes people out to the Reflection Riding Nature Center and Arboretum, which is located at the base of Lookout Mountain. So you get to go to this nice wilderness, get in the swing car, and then go up the side of the mountain, seeing, you know, going through creeks and going over rocks and logs, and also seeing wildlife because it's electric, so it's a quiet vehicle.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I haven't done that yet, but it sounds like so much fun. And there's also another company that I know of called Spark, and they even offer adaptive water skiing in Chattanooga. So I did do that when I was like probably 15 or 16 years old. So quite a while back, but it was a ton of fun. And they even have like skiers on each side of you. So if, you know, you do go underwater, get flipped upside down or something crazy, which I did, they will jump in and, you know, bring you back up, and they're total pros at it. So I think they do like an accessible or an adaptive water skiing event like once every summer. So if, you know, you're interested in that, definitely check ahead of time. But maybe they offer it even a few times a year now. I'm not entirely sure, but definitely check out Spark. So Spark is the name of the company that does that.
Yes, and they have lots of a range of different activities. So if water is not exactly your thing, you can even get on the Riverwalk and take one of their bikes that you can do hand cycling. So that's a fun way to see Riverwalk.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't even know that. So that's good to know. And Adam Bacon says he's thinking of visiting Chattanooga for an accessible vacation this summer. So
Great.
Awesome. You're going to love it, Adam. And Randy says October they're wanting to come. So yeah, hope you guys love it.
Yeah, that would be an excellent time to come. In October, you've got the changing leaves, and there are so many ways to see the fall foliage. So one of those might be the Southern Belle, where you can go on a cruise down the river and see the foliage from the water, or you could go to Lookout Mountain. And the Incline Railway is actually opening on Monday with brand new train cars on the Incline Railway, and they are
Oh,
now
cool.
fully accessible. So you
Oh,
roll right in and have your spot there on the incline. And as you're going up, you've got these great open windows, so you can see all of the view of Lookout Mountain and then Chattanooga below. So
yeah.
at the
That's
top, you can even roll on to Point Park, and that would be another great spot to see the fall foliage. So at Point Park, you're looking down at Chattanooga and the Tennessee River, and you've got that nice horseshoe bend in the river when you're looking above.
Yeah. I've been to Point Park many times, and it is a beautiful area. You can see downtown Chattanooga below and everything, but I've tried to do the Incline Railway before, and it's never been accessible. So I'm so happy to hear that, you know, it's finally going to be accessible. And I had no idea about that. So thank you
Yeah.
for the information.
You're welcome. It's very exciting to have these new cars on the tracks, and they
Yeah.
also have AC and heat, so you can be comfortable in the summer and the winter.
Yeah, I'll definitely be checking that out very soon. So I can't wait for that. And another fun like outdoor activity, and probably Chattanooga's most known attraction, other than maybe the Chattanooga Choo Choo, is Rock City. So from Rock City, you can actually see 7 states. And here's a picture of me at the lookoff. So you can see Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. Hopefully that was 7 that I named. But it's a really beautiful area, and not all of Rock City is accessible though. So they do give, I think, a 20% or 25% discount for wheelchair users, but they do have a wheelchair accessible path that you can take. And it gets you, you know, to all of the highlights. You're able to go to that view. They have a restaurant there, and it's a really fun outdoor attraction.
Yeah, it's really cool that they do have some of those paths that you can take and really get to that prime spot, that view that everyone wants to check out, which was in your photo. So I'm glad that you have experienced that.
Yeah, I've been there many, many times, and they even have on some days like shows with animals. I went to like a bird show there one time, and they had like, I think, an eagle, or I don't know, some different kinds of birds, but it's always like really entertaining and educational as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And then now let's kind of delve more into some of the indoor activities, if we can, in Chattanooga. We've talked a lot about the great outdoors, which I think Chattanooga is a nature lover's paradise. So there's always something fun to do outside. But if you know, it is a hot day and you want to get inside into the cool air, or if it's a cold day and you just want to get inside to be warm, there's always something to do as well. So can you tell us about some of your favorite indoor attractions that are accessible?
Yes. So the Tennessee Aquarium would definitely be top of the list. But you can see the species that are in the Tennessee River right there in the river journey. That side of the aquarium has all of these different species and creatures that are native to our area. And then the Ocean's Journey building, you also have lots of incredible things, you know, sharks, stingrays, all sorts of different animals. The Tennessee Aquarium is actually doing the Year of the Turtle this year. So they're bringing awareness to turtles across the world, and you can actually go to their Turtles of the World exhibit that's new for 2020. Just up from the Tennessee Aquarium, if you go up to the Bluffview Art District, you have the Hunter Museum of American Art, which is accessible, and it's wonderful to wind your way through and look at both the permanent collection and then also the temporary exhibits. The Hunter is always bringing in new and interesting exhibits to the temporary side.
Yeah, I love both of those. I mean, the aquarium is amazing. So this picture was actually at the Hunter Museum of Art. It's really a huge art museum, and I think like one day a month it's even free to visit, or it was like a couple of years ago anyway. But it's a phenomenal museum, and I'm not even like a huge fan of art museums, but every time I go there, there's like something new to look at and admire. And I would say to plan at least a couple hours to get around the Hunter Museum of Art. And then from there, you could actually get to the walking bridge the Walnut Street Bridge very, very easily. So it's right beside it. It's a really good area, and you could also even walk over to the aquarium. So both the Hunter Museum of Art and the aquarium are like within walking distance, really easy to get to. But my favorite thing at the aquarium is probably the penguin exhibit. I love that exhibit. It's always so much fun to like see what they're up to and what they're doing.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And up on the Bluffview Art District too, you might want to outside check out the river sculpture gardens. So you've got these gardens overhanging the bluff that have all these different sculptures in there, and it's got a path where you can roll in there and check out the different sculptures.
absolutely. And one of my favorite restaurants is right there too in the Bluffview Art District, Rembrandt's. I am such a huge fan. They have like all kinds of sweets that you can get. The tiramisu is spectacular. And then also Tony's is an Italian restaurant right there in the Bluffview Art District as well. So right across from Rembrandt's Coffee House. And it's like the best Italian food in Chattanooga, I think.
I agree. I love getting the tiramisu just sometimes on a random weeknight. And sometimes for holidays, I go and get a little bit of truffles for family members.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great amenity to have.
Yeah, definitely. I go there way too much. And are there any other indoor attractions that you want to talk about, like not in the downtown area, or maybe like on the North Shore or another area?
Yeah, some of the other areas. So Warehouse Row, if you're really into shopping, is a really cool building. It was a former factory that's been converted. And so it's this really cool brick buildings, multiple stories. And they always have a sort of interesting art throughout the building when you're rolling through. And then you've got lots of different shops there, both local and then some chains that you might recognize or might like for shopping.
Right, definitely. And another cool indoor attraction that I would recommend is the International Museum of Towing and Recovery. So it's a museum that I went to last year for the first time. And to be honest, I did not think I would enjoy it. I was like, it's just a towing museum. Like, it's probably going to be a little boring, but it's actually super interesting. And they had like old tow trucks and new ones. And I mean, it's a really big exhibit. I mean, I spent probably like an hour and a half or 2 hours there. And then they have the Hall of Fame as well. And so it's really a nice, interesting museum. And Travel Channel, I saw that they even named it one of like the top 5 most unique museums in the world. So that is kind of what drew me to going there. And then when I got there, I was like, wow, I can see why. Like, it's really interesting and cool. And I never even knew that like towing is one of the most like deadly jobs in the world. I mean, I really learned so much there.
Yeah, it is unusual, and it's also fascinating. So towing was invented in Chattanooga, and a lot of the parts of it, where you're talking about the dangerous parts, is recovery too. So we think about towing, we don't want to have our car towed if we happen to park in the wrong spot, but recovery is an important thing too. If you are stranded on the side of the road, or if there's some type of an accident, you have tow trucks that are coming out to actually rescue and save the day, and they're working alongside the road where lots of traffic is going by. So it is a dangerous job to do the recovery as well as just regular towing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely unique and worth visiting, along with like the Tennessee Aquarium, the Hunter Museum, even like Hamilton Place Mall. It's not in the downtown area, but it's a really great mall. They just had a Dave and Buster's there. So always something to do, no matter what part of Chattanooga you're in. And then the Cory River is even pretty close to Chattanooga. And I always enjoy going there just to like get outdoors and see like people rafting. And it's a lot of fun there too.
Yeah. And one more outdoor experience that I should mention that just opened in February is the Charles H. Coolidge National Medal of Honor Heritage Center. So we're actually sort of the birthplace of the Medal of Honor. The first medals were given to soldiers in the Civil War who disrupted lines between Atlanta and Chattanooga. So they were Union soldiers that disrupted this train line. So there are exhibits about them that received the first medals of honor. And then there are also exhibits all the way up to contemporary times and different Medal of Honor recipients. There's also exhibit on the first and only female recipient of the Medal of Honor, Dr. Mary Walker, and she was a nurse in the Civil War. So it's a really cool place to see exhibits, learn a lot about the history of Chattanooga, and it is a brand new experience. It's located right by the Tennessee Aquarium, so it's great to check it out if you're also going to the aquarium.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen that there, but I haven't had a chance to like go inside and give it a tour yet, but hopefully one day. But why would you say that Chattanooga is a great option if someone's just like thinking, well, I want to do a vacation like in the Southeast? Like, what's your, I guess, like 30-second spiel of why they should pick Chattanooga?
Chattanooga is in a great location within the South. It's easy to get to. And while you're here, you'll have a great experience no matter what your interest is. If it's arts, outdoors, or if it's culture and heritage, there are so many different things to do in addition to our attractions that are unusual and exciting here in Chattanooga. So there are just so many different options. And we also have a lot of different places that we've preserved and taken care of, including our river and a lot of our buildings that now house new and exciting experiences. And of course, if you're traveling, you're definitely going to want to eat throughout the day. And we have all sorts of incredible, authentic, original concept restaurants throughout downtown and beyond.
Yeah. And while we're talking about restaurants, what would you say that your top 3 are? And then I'll say my top 3.
Okay. You're putting me on the spot with that one. I can't say that I have exactly the top 3, but I'll give you a few recommendations because I'm always trying new restaurants in Chattanooga. Stir is a really interesting one in the historic Chattanooga Choo Choo Hotel. Really great restored space, and they have excellent food from seafood to steaks and everything in between. And then across town, Il Primo is an Italian restaurant that's great if you really just want some traditional Italian dishes. For ice cream, I'd have to go to Clumpy's. And then for breakfast,
glad you said that. Clumpy's is my favorite, and I always like have arguments with people that want to go to other ice cream places, and I'm like, no, we have to go to Clumpy's. Like, it is the best. Those homemade waffle cones, like, you can't beat it.
So good. And then for breakfast, we have a lot of great coffee shops. One of the newer ones is Sleepyhead, and they have a really great space that has all of these different succulents and plants, and it's fun to just grab a cup of coffee, maybe do a little bit of work there. Or for breakfast, Kenny's Southside Sandwiches. It's from Kenny Burnap, who was a chef at St. John's Restaurant, one of our fine dining restaurants. Yeah. And he and another partner opened this new concept called Kenny's Southside Sandwiches. And they have some really great Southern food using local seasonal ingredients. So I like going there to get a biscuit loaded with everything plus some local veggies.
Yeah, awesome. I have not been there yet, but I have been to Stir, and it's phenomenal. The seasonal dips appetizer is one of my favorite dishes in Chattanooga. It's hummus and edamame dip and
pimento, I think.
What is it?
I think it has a little bit of pimento cheese on that one too.
Yeah, I think that's it. I believe so. So yeah, it's phenomenal for like pita bread, and then Il Primo is definitely a good restaurant for Italian food up in there. But I would say my kind of top few are syrup and eggs. I love syrup and eggs for breakfast or brunch on a weekend. It's inside the Dwell Hotel, and it is just an amazing restaurant. They have like specialty pancakes every week. So I've had these like red velvet pancakes there. I've had sweet pea pancakes. I mean, they have like jalapeno pancakes sometimes. I mean, it's always like something new and inventive that you're going to get at Syrup and Eggs. It's a phenomenal restaurant. And then in downtown, I would also say Uncle Larry's. They have the world's best catfish. It's all like home cooking. It's so good. They do have a step to get inside, but if you let them know that you're there by calling them or sending another member of your party in, they'll bring out a portable ramp and help you get in. So it is accessible with the portable ramp. And then they have like the homemade fried okra, which I'm like always a fan of. Fried okra is like one of my favorite foods. And this is the spicy catfish. So it's like a Cajun catfish. It's super spicy, but they give like huge portions, and it's such a good restaurant. And then if you want just a like quick like cheap lunch that isn't, you know, too expensive, then definitely get a Good Dog. It's near Coolidge Park and like only a few stops down from Clumpy's ice cream. So Good Dog has vegetarian dogs, which this one was, and I'm never a fan of hot dogs. I never have been. Like they gross me out kind of, but when I went there, I like immediately became a huge fan. I mean, it is phenomenal, like how good of a hot dog they can make. So definitely those three. And then if you want something more upscale, my favorite is probably, it's like a tough decision, but I would say Hennon's. I really love Hennon's in downtown. It's near, like right beside the Tennessee Aquarium. So it's a little more upscale, but phenomenal food.
Absolutely. And I really liked what you said about Larry's Fish Restaurant too, because I think that what you were describing sort of captures the spirit of Chattanooga in that we like to help. So we do have lots of places that are accessible and lots of restaurants, you know, they can roll right into. But just in general, our whole community wants to help. Whether you're from here or you're a visitor, we want you to have a good time. So anyone you're going to meet on the street is going to help you with a recommendation, or someone you talk to in a restaurant is going to tell you about their favorite place to go. And we just really embrace visitors who are here enjoying our city because we enjoy our city.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, I could really talk all day about good restaurants in Chattanooga and like good attractions because every time I go, I'm like trying to try the new restaurant or, you know, there's always something new popping up, it feels like. So I feel like Chattanooga is really booming now. But can you kind of explain to everyone what the current situation is like with Chattanooga during the coronavirus? Like, are things opening up? Are they still locked down, or what's the current situation?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are sort of in different phases. And right now we do have visitors coming in on the weekend and throughout the week. And that's just kind of been with the last couple of weeks. We have lots of attractions that have started to reopen. I think Rock City was one of the earliest, and the Tennessee Aquarium just opened a few days ago. You have the Creative Discovery Museum that's opening at the end of the month. So there are different attractions opening. Restaurants are offering their services too. But what you will find is that we're doing it in a safe way. So our different attractions and restaurants and other tourism businesses have things in place like their staff are wearing masks and gloves. They're taking the temperature daily of their staffs. And then they also are putting out signage that helps to communicate to visitors what practices they're doing as far as extra cleaning. For visitors who are coming, we do encourage people to bring masks and wear masks. For example, the Tennessee Aquarium in the morning has a 2-hour slot where they require masks. And if you're not comfortable with that, then you can go at another point in the day where masks are encouraged, but they're not required. So you will find that there are different measures in place depending on where you're going. But on our website, visit Chattanooga.com, you can see a list of all of the businesses that have reopened and different measures that each one of them is taking.
Awesome. Yeah. And I know that even like Stir, they have outdoor seating. So, you know, and they've spread the tables apart outside for the patio seating. And some of the restaurants are doing things like that as well. So you can even go to a restaurant, eat outside, and be socially distanced as well if you want to.
Yes. And we do, like you said earlier, we are very much an outdoor city, and we have lots of restaurants that have great outdoor patio seating, whether it's in the core of downtown or along the river overlooking the Tennessee River, and you get that nice river breeze.
Yeah, a good restaurant along the river that I would recommend is the Boathouse. They have like such good seafood, oysters, like every salmon is spectacular there, and get really good guacamole also. But are there any like unique accessibility initiatives that Visit Chattanooga is doing, or that you want to talk about? I guess like overall, like, is there anything that the city is doing in regards to accessibility?
Yeah, so I know on the city side, what I've heard in years past is that they do work on checking sidewalks, and they want people to report those areas where there needs to be a modification in the sidewalk or there's some type of a crack in the pavement and it needs to be filled. So the city definitely looks at that citywide and has a committee that works on accessibility too. As far as the Chattanooga Tourism Company and what we work on, that you'll find on our website at visitchattanooga.com is we're working to curate experiences that provide those accessible itineraries that show different hotels that are a good option to stay at, and restaurants, or if it's outdoor activities, different options that you can do there. Beyond that, we like hosting accessible travel writers. So it's great when we have them in town, and we've been taking steps to do that so we can show for those audiences, like the viewers that tune into your programs, Cory, they can see what it is that they can have a great experience when they come to Chattanooga.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I know you guys have been phenomenal to work with. So thank you so much for that. And hopefully once this pandemic is over, we can get back to it and do some more awesome things in Chattanooga. But one of the last things I want to talk about, I mean, Chattanooga is a great city for live entertainment. So can we kind of talk about that? There is the Comedy Catch, if you want to see a good comedy show. There's the Tivoli, and then even live events such as Riverbend, which is an annual music festival, which was unfortunately canceled this year, but we'll be back next year stronger than ever, hopefully.
Yes, so there are quite a few things that, like you said, have been put on hold because of the pandemic, but there are other venues that are slowly opening up, and there are some events that are still on the books. We have those on our website, visitchattanooga.com. As far as venues, I know that Songbirds has started their tours again. It's a great collection of rare and vintage guitars, and you also get a sort of a music history tour as you go through there. They are doing some concerts coming up soon. I know they'll have some social distancing in place and limits on the crowds, but they are slowly opening up. And then we are waiting to hear plans for some of our other venues. But yes, it is great to see show at like the Tivoli Theater, the Walker Theater. So we're looking forward to them getting to open again.
Yeah, and the Tivoli Theater, they even have like Broadway shows come in like multiple times a year. So not right now, of course, but if you're planning a visit for 2021, definitely check out the Tivoli schedule. There's always something going on there every weekend, and a lot of weekdays even. So I've seen like the Book of Mormon there. I've seen Stomp, The Color Purple, so many good shows there. So always something fun going on, of whether it's a live event or an outdoor attraction or some good food. Chattanooga is really a spectacular place to visit. But I'm going to ask you one last question, and then we'll let you go. But I asked you earlier, what are your top 3 restaurants? But if you were going to Chattanooga for the first time, what 3 attractions would you go to? You can only pick 3.
Oh, this is tough. So I'm going to keep in mind that I could maybe go on multiple trips, and this is my first of many to go.
Right.
So I would absolutely walk across the Walnut Street Bridge. It's a great way to orient yourself downtown, and also just look at the spectacular skyline of our city and all of the great nature with Lookout Mountain in the distance. And then I really would have to go to the Tennessee Aquarium. I love animals. I love that it's about our local Tennessee River, and it has exhibits that are related to species that you can see right here in our community. And then it's hard to choose. If I choose Rock City and Ruby Falls, if I could go to both of them on top of the mountain. Rock City is just a wonderful way to see the incredible sort of geography of the mountain on Lookout Mountain, seeing the different cliff faces and the waterfall, all of the gardens, and just the history, and that this attraction has been around for decades, and there are generations of families that have gone through there. So it's a really spectacular place to explore, and it's outdoors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say if I could only pick 3, I would probably pick the Tennessee River Park. That would be my number 1 always. The 13-mile paved trail is amazing, completely accessible with phenomenal views of the river. Definitely plan to bring a picnic or grill out right there at the river park. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. And then I would also agree and say the Tennessee Aquarium. I went there on field trips every year my entire life through school, and it never gets old. There's always a new attraction, a new exhibit. It's really the best aquarium, I think, in the world. I mean, even more so than like some larger aquariums. I mean, I think they really do a phenomenal job at the Tennessee Aquarium. And then for my 3rd attraction, I would probably say, it's so tough, but I would say probably like just hanging out in Coolidge Park, and like enjoying the park, seeing the views of the river, and then like going over to Clumpy's, getting some ice cream, eating at Good Dog or something like that. You know, I think that's always a fun time. But yeah, thank you so much, Marissa, for joining me. It's been a really fun time, and I hope that everyone, you know, learned something new about Chattanooga. I know I did. I'll be definitely doing the Lookout Mountain Incline Railway soon. So thank you so much for all of the information. And is there anything else that you want to say to encourage people to visit Chattanooga? And can you also remind us where everyone can go to learn more about Chattanooga?
Well, I just would love for anyone to reach out anytime. All of our contact info is on visitchattanooga.com. So you can find a lot of info on there. But if you want to, you have some questions about a trip that you're planning, or you want to know what's the latest and greatest, just reach out to us. So again, it's visitchattanooga.com. And I really hope that you'll come visit again soon, Cory, and that we can take you on the Incline Railway and maybe check out the Swin Car.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can't wait for that. And thank you so much. Have a great day, Marissa. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
And thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed that chat with Marissa Bell of Visit Chattanooga. It's really a phenomenal city. I hope that all of you come. And if you do come to town, definitely let me know, and maybe we can meet up. I'm in Chattanooga at least twice a week usually. So definitely let me know. And next week for the final Curb Free from Home, I know this series really flew by too quickly, but we're going to be visiting Rochester, New York. So it's a heavily underrated city in New York State, and I absolutely loved it when I visited a couple years ago. So I'll see you all next week in Rochester, New York. But until then, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Have a good weekend.